We want to bring in Evan Gotlob now, a former prosecutor. Evan, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. If you could talk first, how did this retrial differ from the first trial, if much at all?
I mean, obviously, the biggest part of that was different from this trial was that Proctor didn't testify. Proctor was the main investigator on this case, and for a variety of reasons, smartly, the prosecution didn't call Proctor because of all his problems, which ended up with him being terminated. So they kind of stayed away from that evidence, considering that the defense was all about the cover up of the police misconduct, which they claimed actually caused Mr. O'Keefe's death.
Speaking of not testifying, obviously Karen Reed did not testify again. She didn't testify in the first trial as well. Do you think that that was the right move? And can you kind of explain to everybody what goes into that decision on whether or not to let your client testify?
Well, indirectly, she kind of did testify by doing that HBO special, right? So the prosecution really used that against her. And a lot of times, defendants, excuse me, are encouraged not to testify because they're not professional witnesses like law enforcement officers are. And unless they have something really to tell that's not shown in the evidence or their defense strategy, it's usually counterintuitive for them to testify. In this case, there was no reason to ever have her testify. Just all the statements she made, the statements she made at the scene, and especially really the statements she made in the special that was done in between the two trials. There was no chance they were going to let her testify.
Yeah, looking at that special, then do you kind of feel like it didn't help her at all? It just hurt her?
No, I didn't help her at all. I don't know why her attorneys let her do it, unless it was just a monetary thing. The end of the prosecution's opening statement, the end of the prosecution's case when they arrested, were her speaking on that video about hitting Mr. O'Keefe. So it didn't help her at all. There's nothing that a defendant can do by speaking publicly that's ever going to help their case. And a TV run special is not going to put a defendant in the best light. They're going to put it in the best light for the fans of the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Evan, thank you so much for your expertise there.
Thank you.
Well, for our complete coverage of the